Hi everyone, Neil Connor, 196455, final assessment, oral justification, MSc, performance football coaching. So this is some footage I have from the summer in Connecticut in the States. It's a group of U14 travel players. I have 16 and I have them for a week, 4 hours a day, Monday to Friday. The players are travel. There's a difference in America between recreation and travel. Recreation is for players usually up to 11 or 12 depending on the club, but just want to play soccer for fun. Travel is for the players that are a bit more performance coaching rather than participation coaching. So this group are more performance coaching, which is why we're doing static stretching for the warm-ups. I will get the boys to lead the static stretching. A lot of my sessions are guided discovery and responsibility based coaching, that they are people first and players second. So I try to get them to lead parts of the session, come up with different activities to do. Once I've had the boys for quite a while, this is day 3. So this session, I've already spoken to the coach about what they need to work on, but generally for this week, I've started with defence, Monday, Tuesday, working into midfield, so Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday is the shoot. So this is Wednesday, and it is pretty hot out there today. I've cut down the sessions, we have a lot of water breaks, etc. So initially, the boys are going to do their static stretching. A couple of things for this. I generally have one of the boys come in, do a static stretch, everyone copies and then goes back, and then someone else will come in, just to create a bit more ownership and responsibility. Secondly, this is a great aspect for me when going before about managing expectations. This is a great start where I can have a chat with the boys, talk to them about what they've been doing, what are they up to, what they want to sort of do later in life, do they want to be get that more social aspect. Because I only have them for a week, and generally in the role that I was doing in the States I wouldn't have teams for that long, so it's really critical that I get in with a social angle so that I can create an environment that's fun and engaging. Even though this is more performance coaching, I still have an aspect of psychosocial in my sessions. It's a lot easier to be able to coach players if you have a slight relationship with them with regards to just engaging with them about what they're doing, what they enjoy doing. So this is why you can see me making sure that the stretches are done properly in symmetry, no overstretching, and making sure that they're U14 boys, so they're going to mess around a little bit at the start. I just need to get that all out of the way, get it out of their system so that they know now when we go into our session that it's time to get your thinking caps on. And this is a start activity, arrival activity if you want to call it. This is NFL end zone. Always try and start with something that's a bit more fun, get them engaged, and something that is based within the environment that I coach in the country. So I try and relate it to a sport that they're playing, which helps them engage more. The field is, I can't remember the size, but probably 10, 20, 30, 40 by 30. 16 players, 2 teams, orange pinnies and then non-pinnies. I'm going to put 1 striker, 1 defender in this end zone on the right hand side, which the far line is the red cones, and the same on the other side, which means there's 6v6 in the middle. Object of the game, as I'm explaining, is to pass the ball from one end zone and receive in the other end zone your teammate, and that gets you 1 point. Now, I've played this game with these boys before, so I've changed the progression on this, that as soon as you receive in the end zone, you are then straight away attacking the other end zone, so it's continuous. First of all, any sessions that we're doing or any activities, I'll talk to the group about what we're going to do. I'll then do a walkthrough so they're visually understanding what we're going to do. Then I usually give them 2 or 3 practice goes. so that they then know visually what it looks like, and then they can practice, and then we'll go into actual game scoring. So this one. So we're working on midfields today, so this is quite good with regards to aspects if you want to. Quick passing, movement off the ball, using all the space, working as a team. What type of play do we have? You'll find a lot in this NFL end zone that there is a lot of Hail Marys. The QB wants to be the star and just go long, so I'm trying to ask them, is it successful that we do that? Are there alternative ways? Do we all need to be bunched in the centre? How do the strikers and defenders in the end zone, how do you act? Do you stay in the middle? Do you use all the space? So now they've scored, they are going the other way. Nice fun game to start off with. There is a progression from this, that once they've got the rules and they understand the game, I will then float into introducing a soccer ball to the group. So it's the exact same game. Apart from, I'm going to put 4 in each end zone, so it'll be 2 attackers, 2 defenders in each end zone, and it'll be a 4v4 in the middle. In the initial end zone, NFL end zone that we were playing activity, they were struggling with using all the space, not bunching, not manipulating the opposition. So I really want, in next one, it's really evident that is important to do now, because we have got to manipulate the ball now, and there's also a 4v4 in the end zone. So space is a bit more limited with regards to using the ball for possession. So yet again, I'll explain the rules. I'll look for doing a walkthrough to show them what it is, explain the reasons. Also try and, if there's anything that I've picked up in that first NFL end zone that we need to talk to as a group, then we can work through that, decide what is the best outcome. How can we get over that problem? And what it should look. What does success look like in this session? Now, unbeknownst to me, because I don't know this group particularly that well, I have unintentionally overloaded the orange team with more technical players. Usually with teams, I'll pick 2 captains, they can pick their players, so they generally pick their friends. If you've got one stronger captain than the other with regards to their social group, is that they'll maybe tend to pick the stronger players. So intentionally, to me, the orange team are technically more improved than the other side. This is a travel A team, we have A and B in the States, so I think there's some B players in here, so there's a bit of disparity with technical skills between some of the players.
Absolutely.
I can just explain in there, they're asking, can we go back into the zone to go forward? Absolutely fine. There is, in the States, there's a lack of, the age groups that I coach is a lack of ability to recycle and maintain possession. There's a lot of force in it. I think it comes through the other sports that they play, especially NFL. That there's more a direct approach to playing soccer and force in the play. So this midfield stuff from their coach, asking, trying to improve their ability to maintain possession, shift the opposition, and to just work with the ball and be more comfortable in possession. So you can see the orange team are spreading in a formation, one in the middle, and then more forward line players. The non-pinnies are struggling in this game. First of all, lack of communication. Second of all, lack of organisation. And thirdly, more important than anything, what we call hustle in the States. They are suffering from a lack of hustle to regain possession when we're out of possession.
Well done, Charlie. Look up. Well done, Nick. Great read. Well done, Charlie. Look up. Go, Kevin, go. Go on in. Look up, Nick. Look up. Look up, Kev. And again, a little touch. Touch. 1-0. No sliding tackles, please, come on.
Can I play it out? No.
1-0 to the non-penny.
This is a reset from the centre. Whereas we were playing end-to-end before. They've not played this with a soccer ball, so I just want to start with resetting as normal rules.
Yeah,
Also
go,
gives
Wedge,
them a
start when
break
you're
so
ready.
that maybe I can do some coaching, some interventions. I
scored
can
the goal.
jump in. I know that I'm going to have to do an intervention soon because one team is working on their play a lot easier than the other team.
Okay, look up, look up, look up, look up, look up.
As you can hear me now, I'm trying to. A lot of things with these teams is that they are. There's a lack of looking up, head down, sort of bulldozer, crash ball soccer is called. So I'm trying to give them an aspect of looking up, just being more comfortable as well on the ball, looking up, protecting it if nothing's off, recycle and move possession.
Tell me why I'm not just going to give Orange the ball now. Why am I not just... You're asking me to give them the ball. You're not going to learn anything if you just give up. I think we can get through this. We just need to be more energetic and better with our passing. Yeah? There's no point when you're going through a little bit of a struggle to just go, oh, just give it them. Movement, you two in the end box. Movement. Chelsea, maybe drop in a little bit.
So I just jumped in there with a group intervention because the Orange team actually are winning quite comfortably in this game.
Just keep going,
and the non-pinnies are asking if we can change teams, which for me is that we are not working through a problem. We've given up a little bit and we're trying to get the easy way out. So I jumped in to ask them some questions about, should we change teams? Why shouldn't we? Give me the reasons for and against, and then try and guide them to working through the problem and to continuing and commit to trying to perform better. So I've had a chat with them. What can we do better? What can we do to solve some of the issues that we've got? They've told me that hustle is that they're not hustling at all to regain possession once the Orange possess the ball.
Now we've got our hustle together now. From the middle, Eddie and Aiden.
So I'm trying to reinforce their values that they've told me that they want to improve on, which is hustle.
First thing, don't ever give up, all right? Let's work through this. Jacob, come in. Got to get more involved. Let's go. Tactic. Play on. Keep going. Go, Jacob.
So you can see the non-pinnies are now not given the space they were to the Orange team before. They're hustling more, they're trying to hunt and regain possession.
Let's work through this, boys. Let's go. Go, Jacob. They're not watching anymore. Yeah. Keep going, Jacob. Look up. Get going, Jacob. Hustle. Still didn't score. They didn't score on that one.
So you can see just on the edge there, because the non-pinnies do not have any possession in the end zone, the strikers are sat down.
Get up, you lot. Up.
So that would be, usually I would pause there and just go and have a chat with the strikers about how we can perform better, what are our positioning to retrieve the ball.
There we go. Yes, boys. Yes.
So that was success in that group intervention and the finish. This next activity, we're going to work through same field, breaking lines. So pairs work in teams to try and break through the opposition's lines. So I've split the field in two, 8 players on each half. As you can see, I'm just doing a walkthrough at the moment, just discussing what we're going to do. They've not done this breaking lines before, so I'm going to just have a chat with them about it. We're going to do a walkthrough, then I'll probably give them a couple of goes, and then we'll go with the game and see who can score more points. The premise of this activity, they're all locked in the zones, 2 pairs in each zone. As you can see, the nearest side to me here, there is 2 Orange. Their job is to try and pass through the 2 pinnies that are in the next zone and pass to the Orange players in the 3rd zone. If the non-pinnies receive the ball, they switch and try and pass to their players in the opposite zone. Other reason I've split them into 2 groups is if we go through this into a 4-4-4-4, there is an aspect of some of the players are not engaged in the activity. It can be a while before they regain possession. So if I split them down into just 2 groups, it means that I can coach each group a little bit more intently. So now we've gone through the breaking lines in each one. I'm going to merge them together. So you can see now on the near side to me, there are 4 in that zone. 4 orange, 4 non-pennies, then 4 orange. So orange are trying to work together to pass across, break the line and score a point. Initially, this is quite slow. As I say, they've not done this one before, even though they're a great bunch, lots of energy, but this one is perfect with the thoughts that I've got from the coach, because they're not manipulating the ball as much as they would like, and they're a little bit slow when regaining possession. So you can see there, non-pennies to pennies, that would be a goal. Another goal. This takes a while to get going once we're in the larger format, but actually it gets super competitive. For me, I need to work more, and I will do in another intervention, is our positioning with the ball, in possession, out possession, and in transition. So progression 1, I don't tend to use I do use constraints-led approach, but I don't like the word constraint, so I usually use risk and reward, whereas I would say that you are allowed 1 touch or more than 3. But in this particular case, I've reverted back to limiting them to 2 touches and trying to progress this session into getting more energy and tempo. So if they have 2 touches, then we can progress after this on sending a defender in to hunt the ball if we can. So orange to orange, that would be 1 point. Manipulate the ball. I'm trying to get them to shift their opposing players across the field, manipulate the play to open up and break the line. This next bit I'll jump in later on because they're not moving individually off the ball. As you can see, they're standing in lines quite a bit. So this is how can we move the opposition, how do we defend? So I'm trying to get them to be more energetic and a higher tempo. Initially you can see the non-pennies here, they're in a line, angled, and that's fine if the ball is on this left hand side, but they're not shifting. They're not 1 going into hunt and 3 behind them being compact. They're not shifting across as a unit if they're out of possession to compact as well, to go left, right, up or back. I'm trying to get them to understand that if the non-pennies have the ball in now, then the orange team, if they drop and stay compact like they're going now, not give them any options. And you can see they're trying to, albeit slowly, now they drop. So there's not many options. So now, challenging environment, being creative, how can non-pennies get the ball off if there's no space? Also had a little chat with them about, can we go straight back when the player's facing the opposite way with a pass to break the lines? But you can see now they're getting a little bit better at dropping as a unit. Creativity now is that they're having to go of a chip shot, which is great. You can see the non-pennies dropping there. So trying to work on, now they've got their drop-in, and they're dropping together, but I want them to be a little bit more compact. And also, now we've got the drop when we're out of possession. If we're trying to receive the ball, I want us to work on which foot that we receive the ball on, and also, if one of my players in the 4 receives the ball, what do the other 3 do? So, do they go out in space we're being quite static. I could, if the midfield is receiving the ball, maybe one of the other players can go around and rotate. So movement off the ball, and when we receive the ball, we're trying to work on this next. So on this, I'll do one more progression, and then we'll go into, as you see on the session plans, I'll go into an 8v8 where I bring the goals in. We won't use full field. Just because it's 8v8, it's a really hot day. They've been at this for about an hour and 20 minutes now, I think it is. So they finish off with a game, but there are still a couple of constraints, as it's called. I still want them to I'm going to give them risk and reward, that if they hit a pass through each section and score, then it triples the goals. Also, if the defending team is regaining possession, they manage to go through each section and pass to a player in that zone, I'll also triple the goals. But when we're regaining possession as a defensive unit and then we're in transition, I would like our transition to finish within 15 seconds for the ball to go back to the coach. But that is on the session plan. But this next progression is that you are allowed to now send one player into hunt. So facing teams are allowed to send one player into hunt. So if I'll just do a walkthrough. If the non-pennies have got the ball and orange are facing them, orange can send in one player to try and regain possession as a press. A couple of things, this gets them more engaged, opens up the space. They have to decide if they're going to send a player in or not. But it can only be for the facing teams. So this is still a walkthrough. And then this will then move on to the 8v8 session to finish with a game. And that is me just explaining breaking lines to finish with. That is my oral justification, Neil Connor 196455, and that's my final assessment. Thank you.